There's been several times when I've come across people when they ask me about what is that I do. I told them that I'm into testing, and the only response what I got from them is, I think that's the most easiest job in the world. So in this video, we'll be talking more about what exactly testing is. Hey friends, and greetings for the day. Welcome back to another episode of Testing in Nutshell. This is Neeraj Kumar Singh, and today we are talking about the testing itself. Generally, a lot of people have a common intuition that testing is only about writing and executing test cases, which is just a myth. We do have a lot of other major activities which takes place as a part of testing life cycle, and not only just executing the test cases to validate the product, but there are a lot of prerequisites, a lot of supporting activities which are being conducted, organized to make sure that we provide you a quality product when it reaches the market. But of course, we might look at the product and say that, come on, this is just a simple product, and what could be the possibilities of having testing being involved behind the screen? Because testing seems to be quite simple, that anybody can do it, anybody can perform it, and there's only few things which you need to know is that what the product is all about, what is the requirement. No, we do have a lot of other things which a tester need to undergo and follow that strictly. We do have a lot of parameters, like talking about principles of testing, talking about different techniques, making sure the defects are identified, classifying them, coordinating with developers, making sure all necessary information is available with us, preparing test data, deciding on manual and automation. Again, when you talk about functional and non-functional testing, there are a lot of things like that. As we are trying to understand, as you heard, several list of options here when we just talk about the term testing, then it is not that simple to organize everything and put them into the right sequence. But to begin with, the very first thing is to understand what's the definition of testing. Generally, when you again ask different people that how do you define testing, people may come up with various responses to that. The first thing, maybe they can say that it is all about making sure that the quality is in the product, or defining quality in the product, finding defects in the product which you're testing, making sure that it is meeting the expectation of the requirements of the customers. So people may have different definitions because it's all the part of testing. They define it what they are proficient with. But yes, as they are all different parameters of testing, testing actually comprises all of them. But yes, at this point of time, we must have a simple definition to testing, which I can say it's a process, or it's a systematic process of validating certain expectations when we're given with a set of requirement. A requirement can be anything which is given to you as an expectation, or certain criteria which need to be met by the time you release the product. So it's really important for a tester to understand the requirement and make sure that it meets and behaves the same way how it is supposed to be. But testing is just not limited to that. We have a number of things. As we spoke about different parameters and terms here, we will talk about them in the upcoming videos in more detail. Today we will be talking a little more about testing, and we will say you that what is the objective of testing. Now, as we understand the definition, now let's look at what are the objectives of testing. Objectives, again, most of the people commonly think that testing just have one objective, that is to execute the test cases and find defects. But if I have to say you, it's just one of the objectives. There are many more objectives like that. Of course, the first and foremost objective of testing is to find the defects. When you say defect, it is just like an anomaly in the process or in the product which you think is not as per the expectation, and you call it as a defect. The second thing is equally gaining confidence in the product which you are testing. Being a tester, if you are unable to have your own confidence on the product which you are testing, you cannot let that product reach the market, because you never know if your users will be satisfied with the same or not. So it is really important for a tester to have a good confidence on the product before the tester can push it to the market. The third objective here is to provide necessary information for decision making. Being QA or testing, the longest phase of the software development lifecycle involves a lot of parameters that we are the contributors. Being a tester, you contribute to the management to determine that how much testing has been done so far, how much more need to be done, what type of defects you have found, how many defects are still open to be resolved, because you try to resolve as many defects as possible before you release the product into the market. So there are a number of things which you need to provide to the management for continuous improvements as well as the decision making at any point of time, because management needs those information as a monitoring process to determine what is that we can take as necessary improvements or control actions to overcome any barriers. Another major objective of testing is to prevent defect. I hope we all understand that prevention is better than cure. We, being a good tester, may find a number of defects, but probably finding defects and fixing them would take longer than preventing the defects to happen. Of course, the cost of quality is directly impacted by these parameters. A defect which is found later in the life cycle is expensive to be fixed when compared to earlier in the life cycle. So it is important for a tester to get involved in earlier phases in the software development life cycle to prevent defects as much as possible, as a defect which is found earlier is cheaper to fix than when compared to later. So as you understand from this particular theory that there are several ways by which a tester contributes to the quality of the product, and these are the four major objectives of testing. And it is not limited to that, as we have many other factors like making sure it is a quality one, making sure the defects are resolved, meeting the requirements, meeting the expectations, and making sure that it is compatible with different browsers. So as we go on with the list, we may find a number of parameters which we actually consider as a part of testing. So keeping it short and simple, that's all from this particular video today, because we have spoken about a number of terms and we'll be elaborating them in upcoming videos. Do not forget that this is all about testing in nutshell, so we won't make it longer, each topic, each day, and everything in very simple and nutshell way. So that's all from this particular video. We'll be getting back to you with more interesting videos about testing in nutshell. Till then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep understanding the context. Thanks for watching the video, team, and happy learning.